and welcome to She Rides, a podcast where women's cycling takes lead. I'm Saar, your host for today, and today I'm joined by one of our previous guests to catch up with it. Let's get started. Ready? Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 41 of She Rides. This time it's just me with proper Wi-Fi connection. We have someone with us. I think most people will be very excited to see her on the podcast again. Hi, Sarah.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's always super nice to have you. And we've got the question more than once when you're returning. So here you are. Yeah, let's maybe start off with a basic question. How are you right now?
Yeah, all right. Jet lagged. So every evening I'm a little bit tired, but yeah, I'm getting better in that regard. And also with my poor old broken femur, I'm feeling so much better than 2 weeks ago. So that's good.
That's good. Yeah, so sadly, you're looking forward to a comeback again, but let's maybe get back to the first comeback because you've been, I think, in January on the podcast, and then you didn't really know yet when you would come back, but there you were, like in Tour of Norway, immediately doing well. Yeah, how have the past months been from the podcast to your comeback in Norway?
Yeah, pretty surreal actually. I can't believe how well this season went. I know it sounds weird to say that when right now I can't ride my bike at all, and I also missed the first half of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But it still felt like it was maybe my best season ever, which is weird but cool. It was a really fun 4 races that I did do. And yeah, I remember that podcast and you said stage 8 of the Tour de France looked good for me. And at that time, I mean, of course, a little part of me hoped that I would be able to be there racing. But I certainly, I didn't think that I would make it, and definitely not in like the shape to be competing for the win. Not necessarily because of the iliac artery, but I just hadn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've never really been fighting for a podium in a Grand Tour before. Yeah, it was really awesome.
Yeah. And of course, so yeah, immediately also results-wise, even in Tour of Norway, it was pretty strong. I remember my sister was participating in like a dance show, and I was like watching the live stream through some of the dances, and I was like, "Whoa, wait, is that Sarah?" So yeah, was it like, I don't think you've imagined like coming back on that level, like first race immediately, or?
Yeah, that was crazy. I thought until the last couple 100 meters, I thought I was actually going to win my first race back, which was wild. And then, of course, my teammate won, and I still came third, which was my first European podium in 3 years, and only my second ever, I think. So it was such a good first day back, and yeah, I was really like, wow, this is crazy. Having 2 legs is awesome.
Yeah. And then you went on to Tour de Suisse. Yeah, another strong race. I think like that's basically the thing that goes for your whole season. Like, everything you did, the race was super strong, I would say. Also a nice race to look back on.
Yeah, it was nice. It was the first time I didn't win the jersey overall, but first time I've been awarded a jersey in a UCI race. Apart from Tour Down Under last year, I got jerseys after the last stage. So I guess I should say first time I've been able to wear any category of jersey in a UCI race. In stage 2, I wore the red climbers jersey, and then helped Ushka come 5th overall on GC. So that was a fun tour. Although I did struggle more in the descents I hadn't done in so long. So after that and before the Giro, then I put in a ton of work and time into that. And of course, I still have to improve, but I noticed a big difference from Swiss to the next races.
Yeah. And then the next race, yeah, that was crazy. We already knew Sarah 3.0 was strong. Like 2 stage wins, podium. Yeah, like wow, crazy, right?
Yeah, that was so crazy. Just crazy is a good way of putting it. I was so shocked, and I don't know what was crazier. Like the first stage win was so epic. It was my first one, and then the second one was so cool because it was the Queen stage, and also being able to back up. And I mean, I feel like you can't really fluke a stage at a Grand Tour, but it showed it wasn't a fluke to win the first time. And then to come third on GC, that was really cool. That one wasn't a win, but I don't know, that was really special too because it shows consistency across all the stages. And then the climbers jersey was a nice bonus on top, so super cool. Oh, and we won teams class, which was nice. We all got to go on the stage because the girls were just amazing all week, super selfless and super strong. So it's always nice when everyone gets to come up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, like I think pretty crazy, like right there already. I think the Giro was something like that showed us like when you're on your level, you can really beat some of the best in the world. Like how crazy is it to realize when you're like catching back up, I think it was with Longoborghini, and then like dropping them again. Like how crazy is it
Yeah.
to be there at that point?
Yeah, I still remember that moment. I caught her and then I was thinking, okay, how can I drop her? Like, I'm gonna have to do something special here. And so I waited. There was a little flat part, well, flatter part of the climb. And I thought, draft her on this section and then like really go like full gas once it kicks up again. So I did that, but in my ear, the DS was saying, I think Stein was the DS. So Stein was saying, just go fast, like, don't wait. So he could see that I could have just gone, but in my head, I'm like, oh, but it's Elisa Longoborghini. Like, I have to like really somehow like catch her by surprise or make her
Yeah.
stuff out. But yeah, then when I did go, then I was just able to grow the gap quite quickly.
Uh-huh.
It was so painful. I think that was the first time I've ever wanted a climb to like be over. Normally I love climbs, but I'm like, just get me to the top. And I always do STEM notes, like I think STEM essays are what my teammates call them. Way too long and detailed, but I always have every kilometer and everything. Anyway, the distance, I can't remember now how many Ks it was, but it was longer than the actual distance, and yeah, normally it's correct. So I was surprised, but so happy when it was about 1 kilometer shorter than what my STEM note said because I was dying. It was really hard. But yeah, it was a fantastic day.
And yeah, polka dot jersey, was it planned or did it kind of come along the way?
I'd say coming into the race, it wasn't a big goal. Like the GC was for sure the focus. And then of course stage wins were the next focus. But in saying that, already on stage 2, like oh, what's the Laborel's girl's name? I should know. Ursula. She was so strong. Hats off to her. She really attacked for those QM points
Uh-huh.
on that. It was the highest climb. Now I've forgotten
Yeah.
all the cool names, but there was a special word for it. It was the highest point of the whole tour. So she attacked really hard and went for that, got those first points. And then no one else was really going for the points. So then I thought I wouldn't use too much energy to just like come across the line in second. And it helped me because having that goal. So I was trying to collect points where possible, but without wasting too much energy.
Yeah.
But it helped me because my goal anyway was to try and start the descents at the front or near the front by having a extra motivation. Start the descent at the front. It's better for me on the descent, but then it also
Yeah.
means I can collect QM points. And then on the last day, once we were pretty sure that I'd be able to keep third on GC, then we were going for the QM points as well for sure.
Yeah, that was a crazy race, but then like the craziest race of them all, probably the biggest one, Tour de France Femmes. Like just if you don't like even look at your personal performance, what a race of the team. How was it to be part of the squad?
Oh, it's so special. Yeah, with Kim in yellow and winning
Uh-huh.
stage 5 and just every single rider being so committed to the plan, like all in. It was just such a special feeling. And then of course like Julie and Justine being such amazing domestiques. The others were amazing too on the flat. But just yeah,
Uh-huh.
personally with Julie being my bodyguard all week, she was such a legend.
Yeah.
She always is. And then Justine was next level, and I think we even like became a bit of like a I don't know, a twin meme of you like we went a bit viral on Instagram. Just funny. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was just so obvious how supportive she was. Then yeah, when Kim uh she chose to sacrifice herself on stage 8 when that wasn't the plan, like we were both leaders coming into that stage. Well, she was
Uh-huh.
leading the race, but for that stage in particular, we both were given our own chance. But then she
Uh-huh.
went back to the car even before she crashed. She went back and she chose to sacrifice herself for me. And I didn't even know the plan had changed, but I noticed she suddenly started really looking after me in the peloton, like totally committing herself to me. And then she did that epic pull up the start of the Madeleine, and that was just so special. Like, how many times do you get a rider on the
Uh-huh.
second last stage of the Tour de France in yellow and then choosing to sacrifice themselves
Yeah.
for a teammate? Our teamwork was so good all week, and all the staff were incredible. And it's just so cool to see how far the team's come. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't seem that long
Yeah.
ago. We were a
Yeah.
small team. Like, I wasn't in the team the first Tour de France, of course, but I remember watching my friend Anya Lau was doing her first Tour de France. Actually, I think one of her first pro races. Yeah, it was just cool they were there. She got in the breakaway on the
Uh-huh.
200K stage, and it was just cool to see them there. And now we've gone from last year was our first year as the World Tour team. Ali took the first win that last year, and that was already so exciting. And then I got the first World Tour stage win as a World Tour team last year. That was so cool. And then since then, it's like, Kim's win
Uh-huh.
in Liège was like absolutely incredible. And then, yeah, the yellow jersey and winning a stage with the tour is just next level.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's crazy how far the team has come, and also just if you see them at a race or even on TV coverage, you really look like such a close team, which is so nice to watch in the race and outside the race. It's really cool.
Yeah, we're always having fun, and it was strange. We had the yellow jersey until stage 7, so pretty far into the race, but it still didn't feel like high pressure at all. Like, we were just having fun every day. It was fantastic.
Yeah, 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 and yeah, then your personal race, yeah, again, super strong. Like I think the earlier stages before the real climbing also went very well for you. I think like time losses were limited. Also, super cool downhill coach Justine was very nice to watch. Yeah, how do you look back on the first couple of stages?
Yeah, to be honest, I think I'm just as proud or even prouder maybe of how I got through the first 7 stages. I think I was
Uh huh.
maybe a minute 14 coming into the Madeline stage, and that was to Kim, who had racked up all the bonus seconds, and it doesn't count because she's my teammate. So maybe like 40 seconds to Pauline, I think, something like
Uh
that.
huh.
Yeah, which was for me super good. Yeah, obviously struggle in that kind of terrain and that type of racing, but yeah, my team did super well to look after me, and then I also tried my very best. And I think, yeah, compared to how I raced the tour last year, I would have lost a ton more time.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think I have improved in that aspect, and I was so happy to come to the Madeleine still in GC. I think my DSs were more surprised though, even more than I was. They said they 7 minutes down.
Well, yeah. So indeed, I think that was yeah a pretty good start for you, and then Madeleine also again yeah very strong. Like I have to say, I think it's like almost what it would be maybe 11 or 10 months ago, saying like, oh, this is a Sarah Gigante stage. I did not actually expect this to happen.
So when you say nice things, you don't mean them.
No, but like back then, we didn't like really know how you were, and I was like, okay, this really have to like. I didn't really think like from the peloton like how would this be, and then like I was
Yeah.
watching the Giro, and I was like, oh shit, this could be a good prediction. No, it was like yeah, just crazy to do it there. If you then see like from how far you've come, and then to just be there. And like yeah, it's at the Madeleine, like the podium of last year was very also on you was pretty far back. Like I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
that
If you
was
take
yeah, that
take it
was
out
like
waiting
mm,
fully, then it was, yeah, pretty
yeah,
cool to
yeah,
see who was behind. And yeah, Pauline was just next level. Yeah, hats off to her. She was incredible. But yeah, I think I can be proud of that climb. Also, the whole stage wasn't just
yeah,
like in my head, I was thinking, like Col de la Madeleine stage and just thinking about the
yeah,
Madeleine, but it was really hard to get to the bottom with not too much energy wasted and with the front. Well, there was a
uh-huh,
breakaway as well, but to get to that position, it really required a lot of teamwork and also super focus all day.
yeah,
The riders from the other teams were definitely attacking the descents full gas,
uh-huh,
and it was a pretty hard stage. So I think just getting there in a good position, I only wasted. There was one moment after Kim's crash on that descent. We knew that descent would be probably the hardest. Luckily, Shari was in my bunch, so she got me as
uh-huh,
close as, and I think DSM also had missed the front groups. Shari and
yeah,
DSM got us like pretty close to the league. Well, not the league group, but the group with Pauline and Demi. And then I waited till there was like this small kicker. I think it was a climb of a few
uh-huh,
minutes long, and then I could just jump across, but it was, I don't know how long, it was like 30-second effort. And then once I got there, then the front group completely stopped because I think they were just trying to get rid of me. And then after that, then the rest of my bunch that I was with, they came back. And then
Uh,
after that, then Kim and Julie could come back. So yeah, that was a near crisis averted there, thanks to some good teamwork. Especially amazing that Shari made it over the
mm-hmm.
climb before that descent. Yeah,
Yeah.
Shari was super strong. Yeah, apart from that, like, tiny burst, which it wasn't too bad, like, in the scheme of things, in the 4 hours we did before the Madeline, I had to go a bit too hard for a minute. Apart from that, I felt like I didn't waste too much energy,
Mm-hmm.
and, yeah, it was good compared to the way I came into the Alpe d'Huez last year. Was a bit sad, I didn't want to repeat that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And also kind of felt like that in the peloton, no one was really sure what to expect from. Was it also inside the peloton that feeling that like a lot of riders were like, "Oh, I don't know what to expect. Who will be good?" Like I think your name was maybe the one who most popped up in interviews, but for the rest, it seemed like it was very an unknown area sort of thing there.
Yeah, I agree. It's strange. Normally, especially for, like a almost pure watts per kilo climbing test, like you have a pretty established order of like who you think will come where, at least roughly. Whereas honestly, out of like 10 riders, I had no idea who my biggest competitor would be. And like, for example, Yolene was on the radio giving updates as Kim was pulling on the front. And one of the things she said, which was helpful to know, or we thought it was, she was like, "Oh, Pauline's at the back of, like, this is, I don't know, a group of 10 or so." And she's like, "Oh, Pauline and Demi are near the back." And then in my head, because I had no idea how good Pauline would be, and I thought, oh, maybe she's like, maybe we can beat her. And then next minute, Pauline's like by far the best. So yeah, that I just remember, like, in my head, I'm like, "Oh, that's good to know," 'cause all week I've been thinking,
Mm-hmm.
like, "Is she gonna be, like, absolutely amazing or, might she not be, like, super
Yeah.
strong?" And then, yeah, that one moment on the radio where she said Yolene said Pauline was at the back, I'm like, "Oh, well, that answers that question. She's not feeling the best." Yeah, so it was really funny not knowing, yeah, what people would be like, and even Demi, like, of course, she's usually so, so strong, but then at after Swiss, she seemed to be a bit more
Mm-hmm.
tired than usual and then had the crash, so, yeah, and then I hadn't seen Tasia in a while, and, yeah, it was just hard to know where everyone would be, so kept it interesting. Even within the peloton.
Yeah. And then the final stage, yeah, not, maybe okay, it was an exciting stage, but not my favorite one, maybe. For
Yeah,
you,
no,
I
definitely by
think
me.
either, but
Yes, no, that was until I, yeah, was lying on the road for 2.5 hours with a broken femur a couple weeks later, I would say that was the worst day of the year.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
so
Yeah.
painful. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what are your feelings about that day?
Yeah.
Apart
I
from
mean, yeah.
horrible day.
No, well, that's the thing. I have perspective again. It was not the end of the world. Um, that's a yeah. Setbacks do that to you. Then you start thinking, oh, maybe I would take that day again. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was super disappointing because yeah, coming into the stage, I was in second, and yeah, I definitely didn't think that, like, we weren't really going for the win. We were just hoping to come second. Or to be honest, third would have been fine. I think in my head, second and third are almost the same. But yeah, I knew it would be super hard to keep up on the. I've already erased it from my mind. What was that descent or the climb? Oh, the Jus Plan.
Chuplan. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it would be super hard. I went and I organised and paid for a recon with my mum,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much the whole tour, just not the first few stages. And I had done all the descents 2 times. Apart from that one, I just did it once because I got hypothermia. It was, like, raining and it was horrible. So I
Oh,
just did that one once, but I remember how hard it was, especially in the
yeah.
rain. And I thought, yeah, like, I definitely need to be off the front, not to, like,
Mm-hmm.
attack and win the stage, just to have a head start. But yeah, it was pretty much everything went wrong in that. The start was super hard, the first climb. So already I was isolated. I was the only one from my team at the top of the first smaller climb.
Mm-hmm.
That's when Anna van der Breggen went away. So that was so hard. I was thinking, gosh, Anna's on a good day. And then my teammates did get back, which was super good. Julie and Justine did really well to come back. But yeah, they weren't going to make it to the top of the Jus Plan. So we decided to, well, they were going to make it, but you know what I mean. That it
Yeah.
would have been hard to keep them to the top. So instead, we decided to just set a super fast pace, and then hopefully I could just go really hard and at least get a head start or get away with Pauline,
Mm.
even if I got caught. And yeah, it kind of didn't work at all. I didn't have the legs to do that, and instead, yeah, having Juliet there, his teammate, just was like the nail in the coffin, because when we got to the end of the descent and I was solo, and yeah, they had everyone, I think everyone waiting apart from Pauline, including a teammate. Yeah, then that was, I asked Stein before I knew that. I was like, are they not cooperating? I was just hoping, like, hopefully they're just looking at each other. He's like, no, they're doing a team time trial. I'm like, oh, great. Exactly what I wanted to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, that was, yeah, you just can like you can try, but if it's not your best part and then you have to battle against like teammates working together, then it's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then I could just hear I was asking for time caps. So I was the one wanting all this information,
Hmm.
but I was saying, like, "Can you keep me updated on the timing?" And I could just, as the Ks went on, I went from 2nd to 3rd to 4th to 5th, and then at the end, we didn't know if I was gonna be 5th or 6th, and then I ended up 6th, which was even sadder. But I also remember I saw Anna van der Breggen. It was unlucky timing. I overtook her, like, maybe 2 Ks from the top of the final climb, and
Hmm.
I was thinking, like, "Oh, surely we can at least work together." Even at this point, I wasn't even thinking about time. I'm just like, "Get me to the end of this horrible race. At least it'll be more fun with someone." But then, yeah, she was, I think, I'm not sure if she was just dead or she didn't care anymore, but I had to go past her, and I was thinking maybe she'll catch me on the descent, but she didn't. So, yeah, just had to time trial all the way to the end. But I have to say, one thing that made me a bit happier was the crowds were just incredible. Like, it was just insane, and I only really noticed them the last few Ks. But I couldn't not notice them because they were, like, doing a Mexican wave, like, from the bottom of the climb all the way to the top, and they were chanting my name. I was like, "Oh my gosh, all these people are chanting my name." So, yeah, really cool. So that was one nice thing about the stage.
Yeah,
And I got,
yeah.
pizza from the Tour de Tituma guys afterwards. That was fun.
So in the end, not super bad.
Yeah, yeah. I was disappointed, and then also to
Yeah,
tell all my teammates as they come across the line, and they'll have to find out that we didn't get a podium on the GC. That's hard,
yeah,
but I tried my best, and it just means we have to come back again next year.
yeah. And trying your best is all you can do in the end. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, but apart from the strong performances, you got some nasty comments too.
Yeah, a lot. I was quite liking that there's so much exposure in women's cycling now, until I
Mm-hmm.
realized that there are
Yeah,
downsides as well. And yeah, it was insane because I haven't, of course, I maybe see a comment here and there in the past, but yeah, this was crazy. This is like people messaging me, like, privately,
mm-hmm.
or commenting on my own posts. But especially, yeah, it's like, why? Like,
Yeah.
you try it. It's harder than it looks. Yeah.
Yeah. How does it affect you? But because I think a lot of people are like, they don't really realize you're like a human yourself and you receive these kind of messages. And yeah, it's not like they're very motivating.
Yeah, yeah, and I think I'm getting better, but I probably take criticism more to heart than others even. Not everyone, but, like, then some others I feel are better at brushing it off. Like, even Pauline with all the, like, not the hate, but the attention she got.
Yeah.
I would hate that. So maybe she also struggles with it, but she seems to just not really care, which is nice. So I think I have to be more like that. But yeah, it wasn't the best, but I actually am a bit more used to it now. And I think next year, I don't know, I need, my coach said he can be my PR manager. So he'll, he'll be managing my Instagram just for that week. But no, maybe if I get better at distance, then they'll stop messaging. I don't think that helps me. They don't seem very logical sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, now it's just forever. Even if you get better, like
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
they just yeah, the connection has been made and they won't forget it right now.
Yeah,
But it's
sadly.
like, yeah, it's also like crazy because I didn't watch too much in our on our Belgian TV, but I know there it was also every time like repeating, and I think yeah, if you keep yeah, if you if you keep seeing it and like, oh, shouldn't the teams try to distance her in the descent? Like if you keep saying it, okay, like people will maybe even start thinking like it's more horrible than it actually is. Like
Yeah,
okay,
even I went on to Strava and I looked, I'm like, I'm not even the slowest in the peloton. I'm just at the front of the race going against Cassia downhill, like, and she's attacking me. Like, no wonder I can't keep up. She's amazing. Uh, but yeah, it's just I think it's more on show because my climbing and my descending don't match up. But
yeah,
if I was less good at climbing, then people wouldn't hate on me, you know. So it's a bit weird. Lorena Weibus was really nice, actually. She said to me, "People don't hate on me for not being good at climbs." And I was like, "That is so true. Like, just, you don't have to
yeah,
have all
yeah.
your skills exactly equal. Obviously, I need to improve standing and I want to, but it's not like I just have my head in the sand and I need 100 people to tell me. Like, I know more than anyone and I want it more than anyone."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, strange.
And it's not like you don't work on it either. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I even got like after Swiss, and I was like, "Oh, I'm a bit rusty." I had also dislocated my shoulder during my rehab, so then I'd just done so much lifting, and yeah, I hadn't raced down mountains in a peloton in a year. So plus, not that much in my life really, especially like close together. I feel like every season something goes wrong, like this season, and yeah, I just need some like more practice, like day after day, like even throughout the Giro, I noticed I improved. So I need more races like that. Anyway, before the Giro, and then I even hired a skills coach who came from the UK to, yeah, teach me some stuff in Girona. And then, of course, I also paid for the recon trip and spent a week doing that with my mum. And my mum was
uh,
incredible too. Like I think she drove for like 50 hours because the stages were not close together. Plus,
yeah,
sometimes I asked her, "Oh, do you mind? Do you reckon we could drive back to the top of that mountain so I can descend it again?" So yeah, that was really, selfless of her. I'm asking too much of my mum this year because she had to be my nurse at the start of the year and again now and then the recon trip, but yeah, lucky I have her. But yeah, I do work on it really hard and I just need more time and I'm trying my best, so you can don't need private messages telling me.
yeah. I think that that's the main thing, right? Just if you do feel like being annoyed about something that isn't even about yourself, just keep it to yourself. No one cares.
Yeah, I just wish I could just try going down the Joux Plane with Cassia just for 5 minutes, and then we can speak.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then overall post tour, what's the feeling?
Yeah, I think the first 2 days, I was really disappointed, and then after that, I was less disappointed. I was like, "Actually, it's pretty cool that I'm in the position where I can be or I could be so disappointed about a 6th place at the Tour
Uh,
de France." Like, the fact that I made it to the start of the last stage in 2nd place, the fact that yeah, just that is already so cool, and then 6 isn't even like, it's not bad, right? So, yeah, that was it took me a couple days, but then I realized,
yeah.
actually yeah, I can be proud of this and next year I'll be back. And then I had
Uh,
a really good week. I had to go easy for 5 days. That was my agreement with my coach. 5 days physically easy and then 2 mental whatever I wanted. So physical recovery and then mental recovery.
yeah.
So 5 days I was like, okay, recovery rides, whatever. And then on the weekend I just went like just had fun, which is for me, I would have done even longer, but I didn't want my coach or my team to kill me. So I did like 5.5 hours a day just in the hills. And I also didn't go longer because I thought I really wanted to do a Romandy and
Uh,
I knew I wasn't picked. But I was like, oh, just in case they change their mind, then I don't want to have done 7 hours and they definitely won't take me. So yeah, it's really sad I didn't do Romandy because if I did Romandy, I wouldn't have been in Girona and wouldn't have crashed. So
yeah.
that was extra painful watching Romandy because the stages look so good. And then I was in hospital and I was like, "Oh, I wish I went." But I'll go next year. And Ushka did super well. It was so cool to see her do so well.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Your crash. We're no longer talking to Sarah 3.0, but Sarah 4.0 in the
Not yet.
making.
No, I think I haven't made the upgrade yet. You have to wait till
Yeah.
they
In the making. It's like loading.
yeah, loading. Yeah, we're in a long download phase where the internet is slow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How are you feeling mentally,
Yeah.
physically about it?
Physically, I'm getting better. Mentally, it's annoying. I feel like every time I get started, then it
Yeah.
just something that whack me in the face. But I think I've overtaken the part where I said to my physio. So I came home to Australia so that I could
Mhm.
have access to. We have these awesome sports centres. If you're a top athlete in Australia, I'm so lucky. So I have the Victorian Institute of Sport. And I'm like besties now with the physio Ali there because I spent almost every day there for months at the start of the year. And then I'm like, "Oh, Ali, I've come back just to see you." And then, yeah, I'm on crutches for a while. With the
Mhm.
iliac artery, okay, the first few days I could hardly walk. But after that, like to cope with not being able to ride, I just like walked a lot too much probably, but I was just like always just walking. At least I could do something. Whereas now I really just have to rest and just
Mhm.
like being on crutches, I hate it. So
Yeah.
I said to her, "Oh, I'd rather have the iliac artery again." And then she said, "No, no, this is better." And yeah, I think a few days later, I've already decided I will be back sooner than with the iliac artery, hopefully. I don't know how long it will take, but it feels like a
Mhm.
bone is more certain, at least, like a bone's gonna
Yeah.
get better. Whereas with the iliac artery, I think the worst part was the uncertainty. Like, will it have
Mhm.
worked? And even like when I did start riding and it didn't hurt, it's like, well, what about when I do efforts? Will that hurt? Or like, what about when I race? Will I be able to get PBs again? So I don't have that with my femur. It's pretty straightforward and I will get better. It's just a bit of patience in the meantime, and
Yeah.
also sad to miss out on Worlds. I think that really
Mhm.
sucks because it's really hit the Worlds. Also, I was so excited just just to go to Andorra for the first time for team camp, and then to Rwanda. I've never been to Africa. So I think it would have been a lot of fun, and
Mhm.
yeah, it's just a shame that it was a really hilly Worlds. If I was missing Worlds in like Doha, I wouldn't mind so much. But yeah, that's sad. Again, at least it was still a super good season, and I know that I can come back from this. Like, I don't have any doubt
Mhm.
in my mind that it's possible. I just have to
Yeah.
be patient now and then work hard later, but I don't mind the hard work. So basically, the hard part is resting now, and I don't have a choice because I can't do anything else. So yeah, there's no choice, and it's all for now. I just look forward to the races, like I told you off record. Please don't spoil the Plouay results because that's the most exciting part of my day right now is if there's a women's cycling race that I can watch, and that one hasn't come up on the site that I can watch it on in Australia. So yeah, I'm looking forward to watching all the racing, even if I can't be in the racing.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I think I and everyone with me just hopes everything goes very smoothly for you, and this is the last upgrade you need.
Yeah, yeah. How many more do we need? I think that's enough too.
Well, maybe we can go to some of the latest races, but just not Fluid.
Yeah.
I'll add that afterwards. Well, we can just, yeah, say something about Tour de l'Avenir really quick. For the women's race, there wasn't live coverage, which was sad, I think. Stages, yeah, overall, the GC was won by Isabella Holmgren. I'm still in the prologue, but
She was awesome at the Giro too. I remember on the Queen stage.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, she did a good race there. Yeah, I have it here. So the GC was won by Isabella Holmgren, just before Marion Bunel, and I think maybe the biggest surprise of the Tour de l'Avenir, Talia Appleton on 3. I think that's maybe the name we haven't seen as much in the World Tour peloton on the front as well. Then we had Laura de Schepper on 4, Chaboka on 5, Blasi on 6. It was overall it was also just a very stacked Tour de l'Avenir. We also saw, I think it was Nienke Vinke who had to abandon because of illness. So yeah, it was a pretty strong field. And then maybe we can just go to the stage results really quickly. So the prologue was won by Isabella Holmgren. The first stage by Celia Giry. Then Scarlett Soeren won the second one. Then 3 and 4 against Celia Giry, and then 5A and B, both won by Isabella Holmgren. But we'll go a bit more into Tour de l'Avenir in our next episode because we have a guest who's been involved there. We'll talk about it then a little bit more, and we'll know probably also a bit more than just now going off of the results.
I have to say, just another well done to Talia. Nice to see an Aussie there in third. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, super impressive because I think she's probably one of the only riders in like the top 10, maybe top 20 that has hardly raced in Europe this year. Maybe not at
Yeah.
all even. So yeah, super cool. And yeah, I'm excited to see where she goes next year and yeah, to see her smashing it. Just a shame though, I have to say, unless they change it, she's not picked for the Australian team for Worlds, for under
Mm,
23 Worlds. Isn't that
really?
crazy? Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's
they
crazy.
picked the team before
Mm-hmm.
Lavinier. They didn't have, I guess they didn't have like enough results to go on. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
just a shame they couldn't have left an empty spot or like made someone's spot conditional will be
Mm-hmm.
reviewed after Lavinier because Lavinier is like the perfect
Yeah.
compare all your Australian riders. So the team for Lavinier is bigger than for Worlds. That's the issue. So
Mm-hmm.
Lavinier, it's like you're going off current form rather than trying to decide based on nationals in January, which
Mm-hmm.
was on a flat, pretty flat course compared to Rwanda and compared to Lavinier. And you get to compare your Australian riders against the best. And when you see Talia can, outclimb Mariam Bunal on the final stage, I think they have that right. I think they got second and third, Talia second, Mariam third. And yeah, you just see how awesome she was all week. Then, of course, if you knew that information before you picked, then you'd pick her. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, a real shame, and I hope somehow it can be changed, but yeah, I'm not too sure it can be. So a real bummer if she also has to miss Worlds, but either way, I'm sure she's a super exciting rider to watch going forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's maybe if you need to make a U23 selection, like through the year, there's not really something like Lavenier to really see like how do they do on certain types of courses against really people of their age. So yeah, that's a bit
I wonder,
sad.
could
Yeah.
they move Lavinier a bit earlier? I was just thinking, like, how can we avoid this happening again? Because really, they didn't have results to go on. They have some national results right at the start of the year on completely different courses and not against international competition. And then apart from that, then, yeah, some of our Australian riders are on like Conti teams, like development teams, or in Talia's case, she was just back in Australia, really strong racing in Australia. But then do you go off power numbers? Like, what do you do? So, yeah, it would be nice. The men have the baby Giro. I think that helps a lot with selection. And also, just another opportunity to show yourself to teams and have a bit
Yeah.
more time to sign a contract. If you're waiting till 11 years, it's quite late in the year. Not super late, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, that would be great. Maybe another race right now. Race. So it was a win by Elisa Longo Borghini. I think nice team play with Brody Chapman bridging to the break, and then later when they got caught, she got to help Elisa Longo Borghini there. Second place for Margot Vigie. Susanna Anderson on 3. And then in she rides perspective, strong race of Margot van Pachtbeke, she got 7th. Yeah, Volker Wessels, which was kind of funny result, got 6th, 7th, and 8th in the sprint behind the first 3. So yeah, but it was actually a quite exciting race. I wasn't feeling the best, so on holiday I stayed home. The Wi-Fi wasn't too great, but what I could see of it, it was quite an exciting race.
Yeah, it was great to see Brody ride so strongly. I think she'll be maybe with Spratty, I guess, and leader for Worlds. Anyway, I hope she gets a chance because she's always such an amazing domestique, and yeah, seeing her race that way was really impressive.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then first I thought, let's preview CMAC a bit, but yeah, probably the most important name is already on the start list, Lorena Wiebes, but it's also the only name, so we can't say too much about it. So maybe instead we can actually just look at some transfers, because it took a while for some transfers to happen, but we have some, I think, very exciting transfers. We won't keep the best for last, and we will start with a She Rides transfer. Petra Sjasny is going to Human Powered Health, which is for her, I think, a super nice move. I almost forgot she was also in need of a new contract with all the out of contract riders on the podcast lately. But super good. At least one of them already has a new team. And then something else that was clear is FDG is having new riders in, Franziska Koch and Lauren Dixon. Those are also two very good transfers, I think.
Yeah, scary for the rest of us. Franzi and Lauren are both so strong.
Then we have Nadia Gontova from Windspace to Leva Lula Jaco.
She's my new friend after the tour. She also was at the back quite a lot, but is super strong. So often we'd move up together, and then it turns out she lives in Girona. So she even taught me to knit after I hurt myself. Then she gave me a new hobby, and she would not say where she was going. She was so good about keeping it a secret. I went for a ride with her, and then she taught me to knit, and she came to visit me in hospital. So yeah, I've spent quite a bit of time, and I have to say that girl is good at keeping a secret. So I knew she was going to a world tour team, but I didn't know where, and I was happy when I saw she's going to become an honorary Australian. So yeah, she's so strong. You wait and see. She will smash it next year.
Well, we will definitely keep an eye on it then. And then we have also an exciting transfer. I think Luis Adi is going to Little Trek. And another very cool one is Boudenfijn also going to Little Trek. Which are, yeah, two cool transfers, I think. And then just so I don't miss on anything, we also have Marta Jakulska from Surretzit to Human Powered Health and Danny Hengeveld to Visma Lease a Bike. Yeah, I think some very interesting transfers happening right now.
Yeah, nice to see Danique get onto, you said Visma? That's good. Yeah, I like on my team that we keep the team quite similar each year. Like everyone has I don't think anyone really signs 1-year contracts. So it's really nice we don't have that pressure. But it also means we don't get the excitement of new riders every year. I don't know how many we'll get, but yeah, I think we're staying largely together, which is nice.
Yeah, that's good to see. Then, oh yeah, of course we have some also less exciting news. Both Ceratizet and Hess Cycling won't exist. Hess Cycling actually doesn't exist anymore already, and Ceratizet is still the end of the year and it's done. Yeah, so that's of course less good news for women's cycling.
Yeah, it was sad to see Hess collapse in the middle of the year, especially just kind of leave their riders in the lurch. I had a couple friends on that team. So yeah, I hope they can find contracts for next year because it's a tricky situation needing to
Yeah.
get a heat contract but not be able to race to show yourself.
Yeah, and it's all already so hard right now this year to find a contract. Like even if you're super strong, it's like it can be hard to find a contract right now just because last year was a year of a lot of transfers. So yeah, let's hope the biggest sport can find a new team and can continue in cycling at least.
Yeah, and the staff as well. It's hard.
Yeah, neat. Well, did I miss something? Yeah, some other big news was Pauline Ferrand-Prévot is going to the Worlds in the end. So first she said she wasn't gonna do that, and now she's going. Yeah, then I don't think, do we need to add something else? Something else I think was that Kristen Faulkner isn't going to the Worlds. Dygert is.
It's sad that the USA, they're only taking Chloe Dygert and Ruth Edwards. Like,
Yeah,
the riders, I was having a look at their selection document. I have too much time right now. And they have different levels. So you have
yeah.
to pay for yourself anyway if you're not in the highest levels.
Uh,
So it's a shame that they couldn't just offer the spot to more riders and just
yeah.
say, pay yourself. Like, of course, the riders don't have to take that. But I feel like some riders would have taken it, even if they had to pay thousands of dollars. I think some people would still have liked the chance. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope they did offer it to more than just Chloe, Ruth, and I think Kristen was offered but declined, it said. Um, yeah, it's a shame though if you're only offering to a few people when you have more spots available.
Yeah, agree. Well, I actually think we can keep it at that today, if you're okay with it.
Yep, I don't have much else to add. Who's your favorite for the world champs?
A difficult question.
Yeah, a bit early, but I was just thinking about it. I know
uh,
mine.
yeah, hoping Lotte and other, but I don't know. I don't want to put too much pressure. So if the world champion jersey era is over after 2 years, I'm okay with it. So I'm just
Yeah, still a
hoping.
good run.
But otherwise, I have been thinking, or I kind of wanted to not be like super obvious, or Kim Lecour. I would like Kim Lecour, actually. Yeah, I would like Kim Lecour.
Yeah,
Or,
she's my favorite. And
okay.
not just a heart pick, like a head pick.
Yeah.
If I was, I'm not
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
not into gambling, but if I had to put my own money on it, which I also think is not allowed because we do all these anti-doping courses, and it also comes with match fixing and gambling stuff. I don't think I can bet on her. Too close. But anyway, if I did have to, I would bet on Kim.
Yeah.
And then after that, second, Pauline. I was surprised to see that she wasn't going. I think it makes sense that she's going because why would you turn down such a chance to win the world champs? Hopefully not to win. Hopefully to come second after Kim. Oh no, if I'm picking my heart podium, then I'll also include, I have to include all my teammates. Justine, she could be the Belgian leader, Saar.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
She can have her chance, like, I don't mind.
Oh, yeah,
Or
she's
Margot.
naked.
Like, no. I made the scenario, like, if there's an early break and Margot is in it, then she's gonna be world champion. Like, if it's still not sure if Lotte is going. But I was talking with my sister and she was like, yeah, but what's the scenario? When you crashed, what's the scenario? How can a she rides rider win? And I was like, I don't know. So, like, Margot or something needs to go in the early break and then we need to, yeah, we kind of need, like, the Olympic scenario, with Anna over or something for that to happen.
We have
But yeah.
Julie, she rides guest.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
strong. She's just too selfless. Someone needs to tell her not to be so nice. Just really, the worlds are yours. Go win them.
Yeah, I'm here for it. Yeah, but yeah, that would also be very cool. But yeah, I think Margot is a bit the same. They will all be happy to sacrifice themselves before thinking about themselves.
Well, as long as they sacrifice for the same person and not
Yeah.
like they leave someone fresh, then that's okay. As long as they're not all doing the same domestiquing and then leave no
Yeah.
leaders. Maybe they all work for Justine. That would be nice. Or all for Julie.
Yeah, we'll be excited to see. But no, if it can be Lotte, I agree on Kim Lecour, actually. I would be fine with that. Then they can also stop complaining about her jersey.
Yeah.
She just has the world jersey.
Yeah, at the coffee shop, I said, "Oh, imagine how cool it would be if you won world." I don't know why we were talking about it, but yeah, it was like, "Oh, it would be so cool." And she's like, "But it's a bit disappointing. My jersey wouldn't look that different." I'm like, "Kim, what a problem to complain about? Your jersey wouldn't look."
Yeah. Oh, I do have to add something, actually. At the moment, they're just popped up in support of Moolman, I think. Another she writes named Sarah Grove is also going to the Worlds. So for the moment, we have Sigrid Hoogset, Sarah, and then I think there will follow in the Belgian team at least two, the two I just mentioned. Yeah. So I think we will have some nice riders at the start there.
What about Petra? Surely she's going.
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, she could win.
Normally,
Breakaway again. This breakaway better be a good one.
yeah. So yeah, I think we'll keep it at that. I think the next episode won't be too long. Like we're Sunday now. I'm gonna do my best to get it still online on Sunday because we're planned to record on Tuesday. And if I put it on Monday, it will be very close together. But anyways, you will have lots of she writes to listen to this week.
Great.
That's a wrap for episode 41 of She Writes. Thanks to Sarah for joining us today. Make sure to subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or YouTube so you never miss an episode. And if you like today's show, a rating, like, or comment really helps us reach more listeners. Follow us on Blue Sky and Instagram for behind-the-scenes updates, or guest game, and more. She Writes is powered by KDM Endurance Coaching. Thanks for listening to She Writes, where women's cycling takes the lead. Keep watching the fun, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.